January 11th, 1944. 11:14 a.m. 4 miles above Germany. Major James H. Howard circled alone in his P-51 Mustang, high over enemy territory. Below him flew 60 American B-17 bombers, slow, heavy, and completely unprotected. Then the sky began to move. 30 German fighters from the Luftwaffe dove toward the bombers. They had been tracking the formation for nearly 20 minutes. This was a planned ambush. Howard was the only American fighter between them and 600 airmen. Just months earlier, unescorted bombers had been slaughtered over Germany. In missions like Schweinfurt and Regensburg, entire formations were wiped out. On Black Thursday, October 14th, 1943, 60 bombers were shot down in a single day. The U.S. Army Air Forces nearly abandoned daylight bombing entirely. The P-51 Mustang was the gamble meant to save it. Fast, long-ranged, and powered by a British Merlin engine, the Mustang could finally escort bombers deep into Germany. But in January 1944, it was still unproven. Many commanders thought long-range escort missions were suicidal. Howard's unit, the 354th Fighter Group known as the Pioneer Mustangs, was testing that theory. When Howard's radio crackled, his 4-man flight had already scattered, chasing another threat. He was alone. Below him, German fighters opened fire. One bomber took hits in both wings. Another lost an engine. Black smoke poured into the freezing air. Howard didn't hesitate. He dove. At over 420 miles per hour, he slammed into the German formation from above. His 50 caliber machine guns tore through the tail of an FW-190. It spiraled away, burning. He pulled up hot 7Gs, crushing his body, then rolled onto a Bf-109. Another burst, canopy gone. Fighter destroyed. 3 enemy aircraft fell in under a minute. But there was still more than 25 attackers left. Doctrine said break off when outnumbered. Never engage more than 2 to 1. Howard ignored it. For the next 37 minutes, he fought non-stop. He didn't defend passively. He hunted. He attacked formation leaders. He broke up attacks before they could reach the bombers. He used the Mustang's speed to dive, fire, extend away, then climb back up and strike again. German pilots weren't expecting this. Inside the bomber formations, gunners watched in disbelief. They had seen escorts turn back at the German border. They had watched fighters leave them to die. This one never left. Howard's ammunition ticked down. His fuel dropped at 24,000 feet. The temperature hit -40 degrees. His guns began to freeze. One by one, they jammed. He kept fighting. When German pilots tried to trap him, he flew straight at them head-on at closing speeds over 700 miles per hour. When they expected him to dive away, he climbed instead. When they tried to box him in, he dove upside down through their formation. It wasn't rational. And that's why it worked. By 11:30 a.m., Howard had confirmed multiple kills. By 11:35, he was nearly out of ammunition. Still, German fighters kept coming. Finally, his guns fell silent. 0 rounds left. Howard was unarmed deep over Germany with nearly 20 enemy fighters still in the sky, and he kept attacking. He dove at German aircraft anyway, closing to within feet. The enemy pilots couldn't tell his guns were empty. They broke off, scattered, disengaged. Howard turned his Mustang into a weapon of intimidation. Fuel dropped toward empty. His oxygen warning light glowed red. His hands were numb. Hypoxia crept in. Still, he stayed. All he had to do was leave and he would make it home. Instead, he stayed between the enemy and the bombers. At 11:44 a.m., American P-47 Thunderbolt escorts finally appeared on the horizon. Seeing them, the German formation disengaged and turned back east. Howard watched them go. Every single bomber was still flying. 60 aircraft. 600 men. Not one lost. Howe landed in England with just 11 gallons of fuel remaining. His aircraft was riddled with holes over 30 strikes. When asked how many enemy fighters he shot down, he shrugged. Maybe 3 or 4. Gun camera footage later confirmed 11 kills. 2 days later, the commander of the 8th Air Force personally interviewed Howard. A Medal of Honor recommendation was submitted immediately. On March 6, 1944, James Howard became the only fighter pilot in the European theater of World War II to receive the Medal of Honor. Not because of how many aircraft he destroyed, but because he refused to leave. His mission changed fighter doctrine forever. Escorts were no longer told to stay defensive, they were authorized to hunt. Within months, nearly every fighter group flew Mustangs. Bomber losses plummeted. The air war over Europe turned. 600 men went home because one pilot stayed when he didn't have to. One Mustang? One pilot. Impossible. Odds. That was the day James Howard proved what courage, skill, and determination could change the course of a war.